When I was 15, I nearly drowned. Frankly, I came as close to death as I ever have in my life. It was at the beach. It was a beach called Reñaca. I was, like I said, 15. I'd swum out, and I was just swimming around, no problem, and, decided just wanted to get back to shore. And I was swimming around there, and then I tried to get back. And I tried to get back, and I didn't know it at the time, but I got caught in a riptide. Now, for those of you who don't know what a riptide is, it's very simple. See, you see the waves. You're on the shore, you're standing on the shore, and you see the waves. And the waves are just, they come and they crash and the water pulls back, right? That's what it appears to be doing. It seems as if all the water is flowing back evenly. What really happens is that the water crashes against the shore, and then it starts to flow back like a river within the sea, if you will. Current. A riptide is basically a current that pulls away from the shore. Now, a riptide can kill you very easily because what it does is that, so imagine you get caught in a riptide. You're swimming to the shore in the middle of a riptide. What'll happen? And of course, the riptide, this current, is flowing out to sea. And so you keep swimming and swimming and you just stay in place. Or even you might even start going farther and farther out to sea. The fact of the matter is, if you stop swimming, a riptide can carry you out miles out into the ocean, right? It'll be like you're swimming and swimming and swimming, but you're never moving. You're never moving forward because the water is coming towards you, okay? In point of fact, if you don't swim towards the shore and allow the riptide to take you where it will, the riptide can send you, miles out from shore, right? It's actually very dangerous. A lot of people drown that way. And what'll happen is that you swim and you swim and you swim and you get exhausted and you drown. And it happens all the time. I mean, it happens all the time, right? And it's tragic because it's such an easy fix if you know what you're doing. And it's a terrible fate. And it happens all the time. And people just drowning mere feet away from the shore. Suppose this is the shoreline, right? My hand, this is the shore, right? Now the waves are crashing here. And the riptide is going in that direction, away out into the ocean, right? And say you're caught around here and you're trying to swim back, right? And you're right in the path of the riptide. And so the riptide keeps pushing you out into the sea, pulling you away from the shore, right? So what do? I mean, I'm talking, I remember very clearly, and I was scared shitless because I'm telling you here, it must have been not more than 20 yards away. The sand, I could practically reach out and touch it, okay? That's how close it was. And I kept trying to swim back to shore. And like I said, I was 15. I was a fairly good swimmer for my age. But the riptide, it just kept me, just pushing me further and further back. And I could see the shoreline receding. It's easy. It's simplicity itself. What you do is that, you're swimming here. And instead of trying to go back to the shore, you swim parallel to the shore. Up or down, it doesn't matter. And you swim parallel to the shore, just 20 yards, not more. And you'll be out of the riptide. And once you're out of the riptide, you can swim right back onto the shore, no problem. And you'll be fine, you see? And I had no idea what was happening. And I got incredibly lucky that a lifeguard who was on duty realized what was happening to me. And yet I could not get to the shore, try as hard as I might. And he and a couple of other of his mates dove into the water and they pulled me out. The fact of the matter is I was getting both exhausted and panicked. It was a miracle. I mean, I really could have drowned. And I don't know, of course, what they did was that they grabbed me and started swimming parallel to the shore out of the path of the riptide and then back onto dry land. Frankly, the closest I ever came to dying. And it was one of the most frightening moments of my life, to tell you the truth. It just so happened that none of my friends saw me because they were out elsewhere, right? We were all a group and we'd been at the beach and then they'd gone elsewhere, probably get a beer or something like that. And so this whole incident happened when nobody was around. And, I pretty much kept it to myself. And for many years, I sort of fooled myself into thinking, oh, it hadn't been that bad. But as I get older, it was really that bad. And it came, like I said, I almost drowned. I mean, I think to myself that maybe not more than 5 minutes more in the sea and I would have drowned and I would have been dead and I wouldn't be talking to you. Now, people who don't know about riptides, they don't know how to fight it, but actually it's incredibly simple to get out of a riptide, to not drown. It's incredibly simple. So that's my near drowning story, and there's a point to it. A lot of people who don't have a lot of experience of swimming in the ocean, like I didn't have at that time, I learned my lesson then and there, right? But a lot of people who don't have any experience of swimming in the ocean, right, they don't know what to do because they think that it's swimming like swimming in a pool. But no, you have to negotiate with the sea. The sea is unforgiving. Every time I wanted to get back to shore, I just swam directly to the shore, no problem, except this time. And this time it didn't work, and I tried and I tried and I tried, and I nearly drowned. And over the years, I've discovered that that happens all the time, not just in the ocean, not just when you're swimming, but in a whole bunch of stuff that you're doing in life. Lots of times you're doing something, okay? You're trying to swim to shore. You're doing some project or other. And you try and you try and you fail, right? And you keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting that this time it'll succeed, it'll happen. And sometimes you see other guys who did that and it worked for them. Maybe for you, you before had done that and it worked like a charm before, but it's not working now. And so you do it again and it doesn't work out, and you do it again and again and again and again, and finally you get exhausted and you drown, right? That happens all the time. That happens all the time. And this happens all the time. This happens all the time, you know? I mean, like that summer, I don't know how many times I dove into the sea, swam around, had a good time, frolicked, and then came back to the shore, no problem. No riptide, nothing happened to me, okay? That's why when I was caught by the riptide, I was swimming and swimming and getting more and more desperate because it had worked before, but now it wasn't working, right? Right. There's a saying, you know, if at first you don't succeed, try. Because we've been taught that, you know, if at first you don't succeed, try again, right? That's the famous line. But the fact of the matter is, if at first you don't succeed, try something different. If you don't succeed, try again. Well, no. If at first you don't succeed, try something different. Okay? Okay? Because you might be caught in a riptide. You might be caught in forces beyond your control. Forces that you can't even see because, you know, I'm telling you about a riptide, but you can't see a riptide. You know, it's invisible. That's the point of it. That's why it's so dangerous. It's not like a bright line in the ocean, like, oh, there's the riptide. No. It's a current in the ocean. It's completely invisible, and it can catch you unawares. You won't even realize you're in it. Because, see, if you keep on fighting against the riptide of your situation, whatsoever that situation might be, whatsoever the riptide might happen to be, if you keep on fighting against it, you're going to drown. You're going to fail. And you're going to wind up at the bottom of the sea. Okay? And the funny thing is that, see, in this video that I'm recording right this second, this very one, this is actually the second version of this video. So lots of times, and here's the problem, lots of times, see, it worked before. That's the thing that freaks you out. That's the thing that locks you into not trying something different this time. I did one version of it. I didn't like it very much, okay? And I didn't like the angles, I didn't like this, that, the other. You guys know how I am. I'm all gay about my camera angles and shit, right? Because, like I said before, you saw the other guy do it. You yourself did it. But now it's not working. And you do it once, you do it twice, you do it 3 times, and then you get into the cycle of repeating and repeating and repeating. And, well, we know how that story is going to end now, don't we? And so I just didn't like how that video came out. And so what did I do? Did I do the same setup? Did I put the cameras in the same position, the same exposure, the same shutter speed, all the rest of it? No! I did it totally different. So this is a quickie video. You know, I just want to just put this little nugget there so that you always think of it. Think of the riptide that nearly killed me, because it really did. Man, I was so fucking scared. You know, that summer, yeah, I laughed it off. I pretended that everything had been fine. Nobody saw me, okay? And frankly, I never saw those lifeguards again. If I were to see them today, I'd kiss the sons of bitches who saved my life, you know, because they really did, because I really was going to drown. These 3 angles that I got going for this shoot, they're totally different from the 4 angles I had for the other shoot. Why? Because the previous one didn't work. And so rather than try to bang my head against that particular wall, I figured I'd just change the cameras around, change the energy, change the location, swim parallel to the shore. Swim in a different direction, do it a different way, change it up. Try something different, okay? And it was sheer chance that they had to realize the trouble I was in, because I wasn't waving my arms. I was just swimming away. But they realized I was in such serious trouble, and they went and they got me. Thank God, okay? So, let this, my little Riptide story be a lesson to you, okay? When you can't get to the shore, do something different. Yeah, that's what I did with this video, because the other one wasn't working. Do everything different, whatever it takes to get out of that situation, because it can kill you. And so you're going to have to be the judge and tell me whether this different approach turned out a good video.